Oh, I'm running short of time. Just 5 minutes left before my exam, and yet a lot is pending to revise. Have I remembered all the correct answers? Will I be rewarded properly for the answers? Again, a lot to study. 5 minutes now. Whatever I have remembered, is that proper or should I add something more? Will other students befit me? Will they perform better than me? Am I fully prepared now? These are the common lines that a stressed students often appearing the exam. If he or she has not prepared well enough for the exam in the entire session. Now, any idea on what my topic? Can anyone guess what is this
Anxiety,
topic all about? Yes, please.
anxiety.
No, it's about stress and management. Good morning to all, to respected madam, to my dear colleagues. This is Sonali Nayak, MSc Nursing first year, going to present my topic on stress and management. I am tired. I am on a way feeling tired, for I have to walk all way alone, work so hard or stand fired. Stress, as we all know different types how to handle it differently in our own way. Whether it is in our thoughts speeding up or slowing down, irritations may cause difficulty in sleeping or just getting out of bed. Frankly, stress kills us from within, isn't it? But there, like preparing for an online practice teaching. This online practice teaching has taught me a lot of things. So this is a good stress for me. Today's class, we shall learn about different types of stress, what are the different causes of stress, the different signs and symptoms associated with it, what would happen if unresolved, and we shall also learn about different coping strategies. People are disturbed not by a thing, but by Epictetus. Right from the time of birth till the last breath drawn, an individual is invariably exposed to variations. The modern world, which is said to be the world of achievement, is also a world of stress. The said to be the world of achievement is also a world of stress and has been called as the age of anxiety and stress. Even a neonate needs narrow cervix and vagina of its mother before coming to the world. So, don't you agree to this statement that yes, the today's world is full of anxiety? Stress is a state of mind which is caused by the self-induced thoughts. Why I call it self-induced thoughts? Because perception one individual to another. Stress-related disorders are included in F40 to 49 of ICD-10, which are stress-related and somatoform disorders. Next, coming to the next slide. Are my slides visible to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you. So stress, the meaning of stress. The term stress means human life. It represents an uneasy experience. It is an unpleasant psychological and physiological state which is caused due to some internal demands that goes beyond our capacity. As I said, the perception of stress varies from one individual to another. What seems like a stress for one, same for the other person. Like climbing Mount Everest may look like a Himalayan task to you, but to Tenzing Norgay it was not. So he was particular about his goal. He set his goal and he achieved it. Moving to the next slide about definition. According to Cell 56, stress is defined as the pressure experienced by the person in response to life demands. These demands are referred to as stressors of life events, physical factors like cold, hunger, hemorrhage, pain, environmental conditions, and personal thoughts. So Cell basically wants to say the stressors, which includes lots of life events. Sometimes the child, as it is growing, as it is in a growing stage, as it is adolescent stage or becoming an adult, there are He has to follow the career options, get a particular job, then married to the dream boy, how he will establish himself, what kind of social status he will earn. So all these things are stressors in our life, isn't it? So stress is defined by cell as a non-specific response to stressors or demands which is made on the body. And according to Lajades, stress is feeling experienced when a person thinks that the demands exceed the personal and social resources the individual is able. Stress varies from one person to another, depends on his perception, and also it depends on the social resources a lot, material or resources the person is having. So, moving on to the meaning of stressors, any event that causes stress is called as a stressor. Stressor as such does not cause stress, but our perception of that event, the meaning we attach, way we react to it, leads to the symptoms or diseases. After reading this slide, say for example, some of you have in this class because you think stress and its management is an important topic from your examination point of view. So you are here to attend the class. They may think it in this way that we will learn something new from this class, which will help us in our daily life. We can improve our life. We can help ourselves, our family members, and the society, and our patients particularly. So there are different perception of the people, and according to that, vary. Basically, there are two types of stressors, internal and external. External means any physical conditions, such as if the sun is not ambient enough, if there is too much of pain, hot and cold temperature, extremities of climate, stressful psychological environments such as poor working conditions, or suppose you are staying in hostel where you are not in a proper relationship with your roommates. So that will also cause a stress to you and your roommates as well. Internal stressors, example physical and psychological. Physical, example infections or inflammations. Say for example, some kind of pathogen that is causing you lot of pain, that is causing you lots of pain, redness, swelling, and all the symptoms, and allergy. So that is a physical stressor to you. Psychological stressor like intense worrying about a harmful event that may or may not occur, or negative self-talk. Moving on to the next slide, we will read about three types of stress: acute stress and chronic stress. Acute stress is the most common type of stress, which can be helpful in short doses. It is the body's response to recent or unexpected event. For example, if you witness a crime or an accident. Say for example, you saw an accident. So you will get goosebumps, you will get intense perspiration, but that is for the time being. Once the stimulus is out of your sight or away from you, you will symptoms. Next is episodic acute stress. Episodic acute stress is when the person experiences acute stress frequently. If the COVID nurse has to wear PPE, so that is also an acute stress. For episodic acute stress. Why episodic? Because it is recurring. Then chronic stress is ongoing stress resulting from the long-term emotional pressure. For example, a stressful and unhappy family situation or money problems, stress, which one has to deal with. So basically, we have two types of stress depending on whether it is a positive one or a negative. Have we classified it into positive and negative, basing on whether it is motivating us or it is demotivating us, whether it helps to keep us focused, helps us to feel excited and does not last for long, then that is eustress. If it is causing unnecessary anxiety, overwhelm, unpleasant, which decreases our performance and can continue for a long time, then that is an example of distress. Eustress stands for a good stress, distress stands for a bad stress. Action itself, I have said that not all the stress are bad. Eustress is good for us. The example, like I prepared myself for this online, good stress for me. But distress, suppose I failed somehow in preparing the slides or somewhere, so that would give me anxious, worried that I haven't done Okay, so not all stress is bad, but you have good stress and bad stress, that and both have different body. Let's give an example here. Suppose all of us are studying, all of you are also studying. So in nodding, you will find yourself taking more time to remember a line. But at the times of examination, when there is a stress, when you know that examinations are knocking at your door, you will left with some limited time, say 1 week or 1 month for your exams. That time your attention, your focus, your memory, that will be very much concentrated on the subject matter. You won't get diverted easily. So that is an example of eustress. But distress, for example, say you prepared and despite of your efforts, then you will start having negative things, negative self talks in your mind, like my life is nowhere, I'm done. So those kind of negative things will come in your mind. Let's give one more example. Suppose imagine one athlete. So one athlete who organized for a sport event. Suppose he is suppose he is in a plan of organizing a sport. So will be acquiring a sponsor, arranging a trainer for him, organizing the new match to improve his ranking. But distress, suppose he stress, he will be overburdened with more responsibilities, or suppose he is left with some irrecoverable personal injury, as a result of which he is dropped from his own team, or suppose he is retiring in near future. So next, we will study about the graph between the level of stress and performance. Level of stress, as we see in the graph, the person who is having little level of stress, he is staying calm. As the stress level up to a threshold, there is increased productivity in the person. The person starts feeling energized, more focused, feels more, works more freely and effortlessly. But if it goes beyond that limit, goes beyond that threshold limit, then person gets fatigue, exhaustion, ill health, and breakdown. So it is always our aim should be to keep ourselves in this optimal range. Look at the other picture, the stress level with the productivity or the performance. Look at this person who is standing and slope of this hill of performance. He says to himself that I can totally handle this. But compared with the other person who is already exhausted and he's standing on the decreasing slope of the performance hill, he is entirely worn out. So he says that I cannot do this. Moving on to the different sources of stress. Basically, we got 4 different types of stressors: environmental stressors, physiological, thoughts. So environmental stressors like noise, pollution. Every year, about trillion plastic waste is dumped in coastal areas. So that is also causing pollution. That is also causing stress not only to the aquatic entire earth, which often goes unnoticed. Then crowding. Just imagine the stress leveling in such an overcrowded train from his home place to the workplace. Traffic, now lockdown, so traffic is less often in our society now. But imagine a time when there was no lockdown, no COVID, and we all have witnessed this. Was a part of our life. Then environmental stressors, example, weather. Weather is bad. See, for example, now it's clear, sunny weather. Suppose the weather is bad, and thunderstorm, then you won't be able to get my voice properly. There will be network issues. So that will also create a stress in you and also in me. Then physiological stressors, illness and injuries. These are inevitable. It may come of its own anytime. Person is ill from within. Will he be able to perform best? Of course not. Physiological stressors number 2, nutrition. So what comes between you and your sleep is primarily the cell phones, the notification that pops up, and the next picture that shows the parents, they are continuously trying to feed the child, but the child is not in a mood to take food. So inadequate nutrition means inadequate growth of the child, will also cause a stress in the child. Then social stresses, financial burden and work burden, loss of a loved one. Then thoughts, negative self-talk or catastrophizing. uh, do you have any idea on this catastrophizing? Anyone has got any idea? Okay, so that too much negative talks to self. For example, suppose suppose a child secures less mark in his exam, so it's okay, he'll feel depressed. He will feel that I lose my scholarship, what my parents will say, I may get scolding from my teachers, my all have other my colleagues have gone up. So these things are normal. But if he says that, oh my God, the world is over. So actually, the world is not over. He is other options. He is still having time to explore himself and to find out whether the subject, whether whatever he has chosen, whether that is so. It is completely illogical to say that I have got grade C on my exam to uh, from point A to point B. That the world, so too much of negative self talk. Then perfectionism. Perfectionism means some have a tendency to do everything perfectly. It's okay. Everyone should also try ourselves to be perfect. But perfectionism doesn't mean that you'll be taking the grass. So we tend to be perfect. That is good. But we cannot be perfect in every spheres. We'll talk about some phobias. So we know what phobias are. They are irrational fear. Fear of flight, fear of height, acrophobia, fear of syringes, trypanophobia, fear of dogs, xenophobia, fear of specnophobia, then fear of open places, agoraphobia, fear of strangers, xenophobia. So there are different types of phobias which cause too much of stress in the person. As we see, the victim is having flushed skin, increased heart rate, increased breathing rate, too much of perspiration. So these are the symptoms of stress. We will read that in later slides. Individual personalities. Individual personalities also matters a lot. That I cannot do it. Too much anxious. Less self-esteem. Lower self-esteem. Less self-worth. He thinks that he is often prone to rejection. So these kind of individual feelings will also cause stress to the person. Then interpersonal relationship. If there is always a quarrel between you and your friends, or suppose between the couples, then that will also harm the child. That will also harm entire family. If there is lack of adequate support within the relationship, suppose there is lack of healthy communication relationship, there is a sense of competitiveness, too much competitiveness between the people involved. Like say in certain families, if they're having two children, start comparing that my elder son is performing better or my younger son. So those kind of comparison should not be done, because there is a factor of age between them. So too much of competition is not good. Threats of rejection will always be there. The fear of disapproval if it that will also stays with you even at your home, then you won't be feeling comfortable anywhere. Struggle for power and control in a relationship, poor intimacy or sexual relationship, over dependency of one person on the another. Say for example, suppose there are old persons in the family, so they are over dependent, they're better. So then there will be stress for the persons involved. Then the system may be family, school, club, or organization. So if there is a lack of leadership, uncooperative atmosphere, too much competitive, there is autocratic leadership, lack of teamwork, confused communication in the family or job, school, or any organization. Then stress in all its members. These are the major causes of stress: career concern, role ambiguity, rotating work shifts. This is quite common in the nursing staffs. Role conflict. Role conflict, like in a classroom itself, different role. There is one CR which who is selected for a month. Role of a CR is little bit more than the role of others. Then there is a class coordinator. So each one is assigned with different role. If there is a conflict between role, someone is unnecessarily interrupting with someone, that will also cause a stress in all the members of that particular association. Occupational demands, lack of participation in decision making, too less work conditions, poor working condition, lack of group cohesiveness, interpersonal or intergroup conflict, if there is change, or lack of social support. How stress affects your body? Stress affects every organ of our body. Starts from with the head. Everywhere it affects. So you will have issues with your mood, anger, depression, irritability, lack of energy, concentration, anxiety, and panic attacks. In skin, we will read about some autoimmune disease which is associated with the stress, like say psoriasis, eczema, dermatitis, random breakouts, and skin rashes. This will be common in a person who is stressed. Then effect on heart, it increases faster heart rate, increased risk of heart attack and stroke. Therefore, we find that these are the lifestyle oriented diseases. Stress can lead to peptic ulcer, then inflammable bowel disease or irritable bowel syndrome, food allergies, stomach cramps, reflux, acid reflux, nausea, and weight fluctuations. The person may start eating more, binge eating may happen, or there will be loss of appetite. So will be occurring. Then on intestine, there will be decreased nutrient absorption, reduced metabolism, decreased enzymatic output, increased risk free bowel disease and diabetes, and more. On pancreas, it will result in elevated secretions of insulin, which may lead to arteries and obesities. Then reproductive system, it may lead to decreased testosterone and estradiol production, leading to reduced fertility. Nowadays, we find it is quite common, who in a very tender age, at 25s only, they'll start losing their hair. Baldness is quite common in the male at a very tender age. This is the reason, stress is the reason behind that. Then immune system, it suppresses the immune system. So people in our age to more prone to different types of pathogens, since our immunity is quite low as compared to the our grandfather generation. Joints and muscles, it will cause aches and pains, inflammation, tension, lowered bone density, may lead to osteoporosis. Learn about how the body copes with the mechanism of stress. Each person has his own normal homeostatic level at which he functions the best. If something unusual is happening in the environment, it may be internal, it may be external environment, then this level of arousal is primarily our body shows two types of responses to that. It may be psychological, it may be physiological. Psychological response includes anger, fear, and physiological response, for example, this RAAS, renin, angiotensin, aldosterone system, or thermoregulation. This is of physiological response. This is, for example, of how hypothalamus is controlling the thermoregulation. We know if the surrounding is high, or say the body temperature is high, this will send an impulse to the hypothalamus in the brain, which will send an impulse to the skin blood vessels, to the sweat glands. To the sweat glands, as it gets activated, they will start producing more sweat. Sweat will come on this. We know evaporation causes cooling. So after this, when the body temperature falls down, it will again send a negative feedback, and then the process will stop. Means the normal range of body temperature is between 97.5 to 90. If there is any increase more than 99.5 increase in body temperature, so then this mechanism will be activated. So now there's a lowered temperature in the environment or the lowered body temperature. So what will the hypothalamus do? Once it gets the impulse, it will send message to the peripheral. These skin blood vessels will constrict. They will keep, once they constrict, the erector pili muscles on the skin, they will get contracted. So as the person will get goosebumps, air will be trapped among the hair follicles. So as a result of that, air acts as a good insulator. So body will start, then other muscles, they will start shivering. So more heat will be produced in the body. So all of these will further lead to increase in the body temperature. Body temperature is maintained, this mechanism will stop. And renin-angiotensin aldosterone system, in short RAAS, secreted from the kidneys. It will act on the angiotensinogen, which is secreted from the liver. It will convert it into angiotensin 1. Then converting enzyme will act on angiotensin 1 and convert it into angiotensin 2, which will act on the peripheral blood vessels. It will cause systemic This will also act on the on the pituitary. Pituitary glands will secrete ADH or antidiuretic hormone from the blood, which will act on the kidney. And angiotensin 2 will also act on the adrenal glands on the cortical part, which will release, which is a mineralocorticoid, and the function of aldosterone is to regulate the electrolyte. Function of why this system has got activated in lower BP or less fluid balance in the body. So as a result of all these mechanisms, suppose there is systemic vasoconstriction, less blood will be supplied to the hypothalamus. So hypothalamus will think that the person is thirsty. It will send the message to the brain, thirsty. So the person will go and drink more water. So fluid balance will be maintained. Then on the pituitary, more ADH will be secreted. That means more hormone is secreted. That means the urine output will be less. That means less amount of water will be lost through urine. Then aldosterone, as I said, it is helpful in electrolyte balance. More aldosterone is released means it will cause more sodium to be absorbed through the PCT of the. As a result, more sodium is absorbed from the nephron, so sodium has a tendency to attract water along with it. So if there is more aldosterone, so there will be fluid overload. So renin and aldosterone, they are in a negative feedback loop. Then we will learn about types of physiological response or homeostasis. Basically two types: local adaptation response and general adaptation response. Local adaptation response, it includes reflex pain response and inflammatory response. Suppose, for example, you accidentally touch one hot. What do? Do you touch it for prolonged hour? No. You within a glimpse of second, you remove your hands from that hot object. Why do you do? One reflex arc associated with it. Why the reflex arc is present in you? Why not in lower organisms? Because reflex gift to us from God, that it is protecting us from the adverse stressors which can cause lot of damage to our body. Suppose the message of touching the hot object, then that message will travel through the nerves to the chest there. Then you will act on that. So this will take a long time. At time there will be lot of damage to the tissues. So to prevent that extra damage, we have reflex arc. Okay. Then inflammatory response. Suppose virus has infected one cell. The infected cells will start which are the chemical messengers. These interferons will act as messengers, and they will be means the surrounding cells of the virus will be alerted that yes, virus has already invaded, and be ready to fight with the virus. So this is how the inflammation working. What I mean to say is, in the local adaptive response, entirely the body is having so much of mechanism which preventing further damage. Reflex pain response, which is localized response of the CNS to pain. adaptive response and protects tissue from further damage. Sensory receptor, a sensory nerve, spinal cord, conductor neuron, motor nerve, effectors muscle. For example, unconscious removal of hand from a hot surface, etc. Inflammatory response, which is stimulated by the trauma, infection, thus preventing it to spread and also promotes healing. We all know what are the signs of inflammation. 5 cardinal signs of inflammation. Can anyone say?
Pain, swelling, redness, loss of function, uh,
Yes, and
heat.
heat. Wait. So these are the signs of inflammation. Why these things are happening? In order to protect the other surrounding tissues. Moving on to the next physiological GAS, general adaptation syndrome, which is identified by Hans cell. Our stress response system defends, then fatigues. What is, we all, irrespective of our caste, grade, and all the individuals are having one particular GAS system. This stress response, then it defends it, and finally it fatigues. So, as per GAS, we have 3 phases. One is resistance phase, one is exhaustion phase. In alarm phase is that phase when the person is just receiving the stressor. Resist phase when the body or the person is trying to cope with the stressor. Exhaustion phase is that phase where the body has already been fatigued, exhausted. So let's take an example of a rubber rope or a rubber band. You are trying to pull it. It will get pulled to some extent. You are using this pulling capability of the rubber band to tie your hairs and to tie your paper, whatever. Suppose you are pulling it beyond its capacity. Stay? No, it will break. So the same thing is happening in a human body. So usually we see that stress resistance, or you can say performance level of the person. Once the stressor occurs and the person is in the alarming stage, the of the person. Why the performance decreases? Because everyone in the alarm stage will be in a shocked condition. Suppose you hear the exams will be conducted in the next week. So you will be shocked. So obviously your performance will go down for a few time. Then after that, has adopted to the stressor. Here I'm talking about the external stressor. The the information that examination will be conducted in near future. You are getting that external stimuli. Your body starts adopting with it. Your mind starts calculating the time that left with me. This much syllabus I have to cover. Where it is poor, in which subject matter it needs to give more focus. Then it starts coping with the stressor. If it fails, then it will enter the exhaustion phase. Body resistance to stress can last until exhaustion state sets in. General adaptation syndrome was given by Hans Sell in 1945. Hans Sell, Canadian endocrinologist. So, according to him, adopting the right attitude can convert a negative stress into a positive one. If this is extreme or long lasting, then the normal mechanisms will not be sufficient. Suppose a person will be appearing exams all his life. He will be exhausted very easily. Suppose we will pull the rubber band beyond its capacity, beyond its limitation, it will break. Suppose a person, even fever, why fever is happening? Whatever pathogen has entered into the person's body, the body has its own mechanism of combating it. Increased body temperature to kill that is a natural way to kill the pathogen. But suppose you can increase the body can increase the temperature, but suppose the temperature goes beyond 105 Fahrenheit, then what will happen? The organ systems, they also need an optimum temperature to function. The organ systems, the hormones, whatever we have in our body, they will also stop functioning. They will get denatured due to high temperature. So there is always an upper limit to everything, not upper and thing. So stress is also extreme if it goes beyond the capacity of the individual. In this case, the stress triggers a wide of bodily changes called as general adaptation syndrome. When stress appears, it stimulates the hypothalamus to initiate the GAS through three stages. First stage, second is the resistance, third is the exhaustion stage. First stage is the stimulation of the sympathetic nervous system of the autonomic nervous system, and the adrenal medulla then secretes the catecholamines or the emergency hormones. This produces an immediate set of responses. Second stage, which involves the anterior pituitary lobe, stimulates the alarm reaction. So can any one of you identify from which film this clip has been taken?
Houseful.
Yes. So from Houseful, this clip has been taken. So just facial expression of these two persons. What does it say? Their skin is flushed. They're highly panic stricken to see a tiger. Tiger, that it's not a domestic animal, so it is quite unusual to see a tiger lying on their sofa. So that's a stressor. It has stimulated the hypothalamus, stimulates the sympathetic nervous system, which further stimulates the adrenal medulla. So adrenal medulla secretes the catecholamines or the emergency hormone. Emergency hormones are epinephrine, norepinephrine, which produces the alarm response, that is fight or flight response. Walter Cannon has proposed this fight. Alarm reaction or the fight or flight response is the body's initial reaction to the stressor. Alarm reaction is meant to counteract a danger by mobilizing immediate physical activity. The sight of seeing a tiger, some brave person will choose to fight with it. Other coward persons will think to fly away from it. You will do this only. We will fly away from it. We will try to escape the tiger. So what will happen? Our heart rate will go high, blood pressure rate will increase, digestion will go down, pupil size and sweating will increase, bladder will start relaxing, sphincters will constrict. So resistance reaction, the second phase. Resistance reaction is the second stage in the stress response. Resistance reaction allows the body to continue fighting. Thus, it helps us to meet the emotional crisis, performing strenuous task, means hard task, fight infection or resist the leading to death. Say, for example, a person is diagnosed with cancer. First, when he is diagnosed with cancer, that then the person will enter into a person will be panic stricken. Later, the person will go into a resistance phase, means he will cope with whatever, he will accept that diagnosis, he will the physician with the nurses, he will plan his chemotherapy regimen, everything he will do. Next, when it goes beyond the resistance phase, his capacity of adaptation, he will enter into the exhaustion phase, where he will be fatigued, exhausted. So generally, the resist is useful in helping us to cope with the stressful situation. Our bodies then return to normal. Occasionally, it fails to fight the stressor. As I said, the cancer fails, then he will die. Especially it is when too severe or long lasting. In this case, the general adaptation syndrome moves into the stage of exhaustion. Older example that I said about fever. Fever is good. It increases the body temperature to kill the pathogens which has entered your body, but beyond starts damaging to the own organ systems. Say, for example, there is an organ damage. Suppose there is injury to the brain, injury to the hypothalamus, or there is a tumor in the thing can happen. So there, the person will able to deal with that kind of stressor properly? No. So resistance reaction. Here a stress hypothalamus which releases corticotrophin releasing hormone, growth hormone releasing hormone, thyrotropin releasing hormone, which stimulates it further releases adrenocorticotropic hormone, human growth hormone, and thyrotropic thyroid stimulating hormone. So ACTH further stimulates the adrenal cortex, which releases adrenal hormones, that is glucocort. This we are talking about the cortic. First alarm phase, we were told about the adrenal medullary hormones, the emergency hormones, catecholamines. But these are the cortical hormones, glucocorticals, mineralocorticoids. Then human growth hormone. This will act on the liver. Why? To produce more energy. Energy will be produced from sources other than glyconeogenesis, example by the breakdown of fats or the breakdown of lactic acid. Then thyroid stimulating hormone, it stimulates the thyroid energy through the increased breakdown of carbohydrates. Then the last one is exhaustion stage. At this stage, the cells start to die and the organs weaken. Resistance reaction puts heavy demand on the body, particularly it stimulates heart, blood vessels, adrenal cortex, which may suddenly fail under the strain. In this respect, ability to handle to a large extent determined by the general health. Then the degrees of stress: positive, tolerable, and toxic. Positive is when the person is dealing with the stress, he's trying to cooperate with it. Tolerable to a certain limit, the stress is tolerable. Beyond that, it becomes toxic. Signs of stress: the difference between signs and symptoms. Sign means which is externally observable, but symptoms means which is a subjective experience. So there will be headaches, frequent infections, tight muscles, muscular twitches. Muscular twitches means irregular spasm of the muscles. There will be loss of confidence, more fussy behavior, means very irritable, easily annoyable, irritable, depression, apathetic, alienation, means the person will stop having social contacts, apprehension, means the person will have the person will be fearful expectation from the from whatever he is doing. Then mind, he will be very worried, muddled thinking, means very confused, impaired judgment, nightmares, indecisions, negativity, hasty decisions. He will be prone to accident, loss of appetite. Sometimes there will be less appetite, or sometimes there may be binge eating, loss of sexual drive, drinking more, getting addicted to alcohol, smoking, insomnia, restlessness. Other common signs includes anxiety, depression, isolation, becoming irritable, sleeplessness, fatigue, loss of appetite, headache. Then moving to the symptoms. Physical symptoms includes muscle tension, colds and other illness, high blood pressure, rapid breathing, pounding of the heart, indigestion, difficulty in sleeping, fatigue, headache, headache, back and neck problems, backache, increased smoking or drinking alcohol. Cognitive symptoms: forgetfulness, unwanted or repetitive thoughts. Cognitive means any higher mental function symptoms: depression, fear of failure, self-criticism. Emotional symptoms, which includes irritable, depression, anger, fear and anxiety, feeling overwhelmed. So now moving to the stress management strategies. This is the most befitting way to manage our stress. Taking a deep breath, for that I have arranged this slide. We need to breathe in till the small sphere goes to that extreme larger shape. Hold it for 4 seconds at least. Then we need to practice specific relaxation techniques. It may be meditation or hypnosis. We all remember this clip has been taken from Bhool Bhulaiya, wherein Akshay Kumar is saying to the patient, "Tum abhi avni agnot, tum abhi ek khushhal zindagi jiyogi." So why is he saying that? He is inducing the hypnosis to the patient. Hypnosis is a state of very calm and it's a self-induced state, which is induced either by self or by some outside person. Self hypnosis, like you will take yourself to a calm, you will say to yourself that yes, I'm happy, I can do better, I'll try myself to do more better things. Then certain relaxation techniques like progressive muscle relaxation, wherein you need to focus your attention on each muscle, progressively contract them and hold it for some time and then relax it. Relaxing music. Then some Chinese will be learned. Not just martial art, any new things if you want to learn. Laughing, guided visualization, yoga, deep breathing. This is very important. Otherwise, you will fall prey into the rabbit hole of the time. Now, what do we mean by rabbit hole of time? Suppose you're getting up late in the morning. Scheduled activities will go late. So that is called as a rabbit hole of time. Once you're falling prey into it, you're getting trapped into it. That is very difficult for it. Moving to the next slide, connecting with others. Means you need to talk with others, because what appears like a stress to you may not be a stress for other person. Good care of yourself, wearing comfortable dress which is ambient with the weather, avoiding eye strain, playing, swimming, running, drinking, proper workout. Then know your limits. You should know your limits, that to what extent you can deal with a particular stress. You will be exhausted. Think positively, because if you are feeding yourself negative thoughts, you're catastrophizing, then that is of no use to you. You are harming yourself. And have a good cry, because that is a good way to wash out our negative emotions. Then the care plan, role stress management assessment. We need to assess the person, his family, and the environment. Assess for the following characteristics in the person. Such individuals of developing stress related disorder, rigid and self-punishing moral standards, high and unrealistic expectations, too much dependence on others for approval, for conformism, inability to master change or learn new ways of dealing with frustration, easily prone to extreme emotional response and depression, especially type A personality. In addition, the presence of stressful life events such as birth, death, marriages, divorces, retirement, personality type A and type B. Usually, type A people are highly competitive in their. They tend to do everything very fast, very competitive. If they fail to do, then they will go into a depression state. But type B, they are calm, relaxing. They'll try new ideas. They will always explore new things. Assessment of the family. Assess the family's perception of the problem, whether it is supportive of the client's effort at coping or not. Of the environment, occupations with a high degree of stress, adverse environmental influence like too much of lighting, temperature. So, for caring of fever, turn off the lights. Why do we do that? Because we want to console the patient. We want to provide comfortable temperature to the patient. Extra stress will not be felt by the patient, and he will recover soon. Then nursing diagnosis, anxiety related to unconscious conflict between the essential goals, threat to self-concept, positive or negative self-talk, or physiological factors as evidenced by restlessness, vomiting, loss of appetite, increased heart rate, anxiety related to change in mental health status, anxiety related to change in health status, anxiety related to maturational. On what do we mean by maturational crisis? It occurs when a person is unable to cope with the natural process of development. See, for example, when a child is adolescent, or suppose the state of pregnancy and motherhood. What is situational crisis? It involves an unexpected event that is beyond the individual, example, natural disaster, or the current situation of COVID-19, loss of job. Many people, they have not expected that they will lose their job due to the COVID-19. So that is also a situational crisis for that person. Then loss of a loved one. Then anxiety related to situation crisis is over. Altered growth and development related to separation from significant others or situational crisis. Example, unplanned pregnancy, caregiver role strain related to adjustment to medical diagnosis or treatment to decreased level of physical function. Say, for example, one person is taking care of his old grandmother or anyone, and they know that the person is that disease, but still then the caregiver. So we find that such a medical diagnosis will be a stress to the patient or her caregiver. Okay, fatigue related to overwhelming psychological demands or excessive role demands, hopelessness related to long-term lost belief in values, ineffective family coping, compromising or disabling. Say for example, in an alcoholic a patient, either the family members will compromise with him or they will disable, means they will stop talking with the alcoholic family member. Ineffective individual coping related to in prolonged stress, risk for injury related to impaired problem solving abilities, risk for injury like the person due to some impaired problem solving go and commit suicide or do certain things which is going to harm himself. Sleep disturbance which is related to the stress. Then set to increase the client's awareness on actual or potential health problem, to help the client in coping with stress, to educate the client and his family members on different coping strategies. Increasing the client's awareness as an actual or potential health problem exists, helping him to realize that the health problem can increase if the personal changes do not identify all possible resources, material. Primarily, the resource for every individual is his family, the first resource, and his friends, the peer group, to support the client through the process with the treatment. When the client becomes aware of the nature of the health problem and is told of the change needed, he often experiences a feeling of anxiety. At first, he will deny, then finally he will accept. So there will be a feeling of anxiety, depression, and anger. The client is encouraged about the losses that has resulted from the behavioral change. Recognizing this grieving process provides the nurse with a clear direction as how she can help the client. Family members accurate information about the nature of the disorder and how they can help the client in coping with the stress. The client and the family also needs to be informed about various alternatives, yoga, relaxation technique. These techniques has a valuable role to play in helping individuals cope with the stressful life events. In all these, always bear in her mind that these are only that they are only facilitators of the change process, but the client has to go through the change. Make a horse go to the river, but you cannot make the horse drink the water from it. So now we will learn about different international organization who is stress in the world. One is American Institute of Stress, one is ISMA or ISMA, which stands for International Stress Management. The American Institute of Stress is a non-profit organization established in 1978 at the request of Hansel to serve as a clearinghouse for information objects. ISMA is in UK. The major aim is to promote stress prevention and well-being. It celebrates Stress Awareness Day on first Wednesday in November, and in India it is celebrated on April 16. Then conclusion: stress is life, and we all live with it each day. While some stress can be good for us, being stressed all the time can also lead to serious health problems mentally, ranging from heart disease, diabetes, high blood pressure to depression and anxiety. Too much of stress can also harm relationships. So it is very important to identify impact our physical and mental health, and taking steps to manage the stress is important. Stress, as we know, is closely linked with the mental health in two ways. Stress can cause mental health issues and make existing problems worse. On the other hand, mental health problems can also lead to stress. The good news is that there are many things people can, as we have already read about the different coping strategies. There are means to improve the mental health and lead to a very healthier and fitter life. National Awareness Day, which is marked on first Wednesday in the month of November, aims to identify and reduce stress factors in our life. So the bibliography from the Arshivani in Neeraj Ahuja, Gerald K. Alan Tasman, Sheila L. Whitback, and Ger Cunningham.